that will serve on the beside the wall as a vent passing the roof level. That is the vent from the septic tank. So a lot of the Filipino designs around here forget about vents. They think that a 90-degree from the septic tanks towards the pipe that's coming out from the house is enough. You need a vent. So this is what old B is gonna have for breakfast today. He wanted the old big breakfast that I used to do, but now someone in YouTube said that I cannot be feeding you that much for cholesterol consciousness. That's not good for you. So it saves me a lot of time. So I get him this bacon sandwich with the bread cut in soldiers and a little bit of barbecue sauce. This is how I do my bacon, crispy fried brown, and a little bit of barbecue sauce. But there. So it's not too much. So I told him the doctor said it's not very good, although I don't know if he's a doctor, but it's a good advice as well. So best thing about it saves me time cooking that big breakfast. Now it's done. This is day 28 on my budget bungalow build. I get up early today because I only given my old B bacon sandwiches because I told him Anthony Foraker, a doctor, and even though he's not a doctor, I just told him it's bad for you, the cholesterol, so you don't have to have the full breakfast. It saves me a lot of time. Thanks, Anthony Foraker. And I want to discuss that somebody sent me, I don't want to mention any names, somebody sent me a picture of a plan last night of their bungalow that they plan to build. It's nice. It's twice the size of the budget bungalow, but less than 100 square meter. And for me, at 4 million, that is very expensive. Because, for example, if I have to put quality tiles on 100 square meters, you've seen the prices that I have given you on my videos. So 60 by 60 tiles is a 3 tile to a square meter. In 100 square meter tiles will only require 300 tiles. Now the prices of the very nice 60 by 60 tiles that I've shown in my videos will be about 150 pesos per tile. So if, let's say, the 150 pesos for the 300 pieces of tiles is needed for 100 square meter house, that's only 45,000 pesos. And I build the 2-story bungalow that I've shown you yesterday, build it with a riprap on a steep hill on 198 square meter plot, and I build that for 2 million. And I know that I build it now again, or that's my next project after the road, of course. I know I'm gonna build it less because I got a few hates, of course, from other contractors that why am I advising foreigners? But like I told them, what law did I break? Sue if you want. And this is what my information is to guide the foreigners on how to save and how to build houses here in the Philippines, and what I'm giving them ideas on the proper way. Don't just rely on contractors. Don't just rely on your builders. I myself has learned this through study and research. This is not my profession, but I just learned it as I go along. I got the mistakes, and also you learn from your mistakes, and you won't be doing the same mistakes like I do. So here we are, day 28 on the budget bungalow build. So this is the thing that they've done this morning. They have put some forms, and you will notice it's just made of corrugated sheets. You know why? Because they just gonna chip it ready for rendering. So here, I think this side and the front side will be poured this afternoon because it's already been done, and they have readied all the columns, covered it up with the forms, and also the front here. So this is the forms that they do for the columns, but they have the proper form wood on the top. So this is the corner here. So I'm expecting this afternoon one side will be poured. And I think right in the middle of this one, so the columns will be all poured. So you can see with that Fredo's tying up using the tire wire the sheets that's gonna hold the cement for the column. Now I have a very interesting question asked by Peter T, asking if this budget bungalow will last 50 years. Now, my answer will be to show you an example. I'm gonna go now to the old house, and I will show you that this house have lasted more than 50 years. Now, if we look at here, this is the column of the old house. This is the old house of the old couple. Now you can see the column that they have there. It's not just a wood stuck on the ground filled with cement and then put the hollow blocks on it and that's their column. They have actually made a proper column, only short, but before they put in the wood. Now here you can see it. This old house has lasted more than 50 years. Now Peter T, look at this house here. This old house, concrete columns, short concrete columns, then before they put in their wooden columns, have lasted 50 years. Now, you look at the way I build the bungalow. No wooden columns at all. I've used 8mm rebars on the floor, but I know it's thin, but it's very close proximity at 20 centimeters distance square. Now, this can last more than this old house. Definitely last more than this old house. You can see that all the beams tied in together, lintels to protect the heads of the doorways and the windows. So this is what I mean. As a foreigner, if you lease the land for 50 years and you build something like this bungalow will not cost you millions. If you can even modify it and make it more convenient, make it more comfortable, like two bedrooms instead of 3, make a luxurious bathroom, everything tiled, all the aesthetics that you want, big bathroom, bath, kitchen. But you can do that on the same scale, not even cost you $1 million, and then you rent the land, lease the land for 50 years. And this look at the amount of money that you put in for a house and you live on it for 50 years. You're not renting anymore, but you're living on a comfortable house in your lifetime, and you leave this kind of amount behind after 50 years. That's what I'm trying to get in, that if a foreigner leases the land for 50 years, of course, because you cannot own the land here, and you want to build something like this, this can last more than 50 years. You won't be renting anymore. It's less than $1 million. Lot less than $1 million. And you have a comfortable house to live in for the rest of your lifetime. So, yes, Peter T, this will last more than 50 years. If you think the old house lasted more than 50 years, the more will be this concrete house. You might, of course, every house has got maintenance. But the more that I see this, if this old house is lasting that long, over 50 years, the better will be the concrete house. This budget bungalow will last more than 50 years, and I suspect the one that they're just gonna change after in a few 20-30 years will be just the roofing, like everyone else was doing as well. I'm going back to my budget bungalow build. It's day 28 today, and this is like the last hour before they break up for the day. So I left them getting ready to pour the first part of those beams. Now, I received an email asking, with all the beautiful beaches here in Cebu City, why do I choose to live in the mountains? You know, if you're gonna believe all this climate change, and there is also evidence of the water level rising, so imagine the problem, Tay, if you have a house near the beach, just near the beach, and if the water level's rising, that will be a disaster. In fact, around the city itself, there are areas that is so flooded during rainy season. That's just ridiculous. So here in the mountain areas, I like it because I still see the sea, and I got the breeze. All the time is breezy here, to be honest. I'm surrounded with all the plants, and there is no more problem with electricity, signal, and water. Water here is free. So for me, this is the best place I could build my house. I've been living here for quite some time now, over a decade, since I finished my house. And so we're arriving here now in my budget bungalow build, and I wonder what they have done, because I could hear my boys there, my old boys talking. So here we are, arriving on the scene. They're looking at me. What's wrong? Let me check. They're mixing it by hand because they said there's like just 2 buckets like this that's locking, and then the mixer stop. So they have done most of what they have formed up this morning, but the mixer stopped, so they have to have a look at it tomorrow. And I said, I think it's not time to change oil at this diesel, because this is the only one locking those 2 buckets. So Predo and Daloy will just doing it by hand, so to finish the job. So I'll have to look inside. So that corner, from that corner to here, is the one that they have poured, including this one side on the front. So I'll look out because it's more better to look out here, because it won't darken the light. So this one is also included, from that corner to here, on that corner there. Giapil ang column this esquina. So this column as well, that's got. So it's only 2 buckets that they said is locking, and they're almost done. They've done each corner, and now they're doing the middle one. But they already done all the columns. So those are the locking one what Fredo is bringing. So they poured an L-shaped beam today. Asakto ra na siya duha. Makuwang pa na gamay. So that one as well is poured right to the end of the column. That column has been closed in. That one there is closed in, and also the header beam ends where the column is. That one there. So this is day 28. So day 27, the costing for day 27, the total running cost was 135,331 with all the beam bars that and tie wires that they put in, and the plywood. That's labor and materials. 135,331 as of day 27. So by the end of this working day, I'll be giving you what's been used as they have poured the column here. I mean the header beams. I always end with columns. So the continuation of the columns and the header beam. So you can see where they put the stopper from the column of what they're pouring. So one thing that I want to show you while I'm here is what I plan for the septic. Because you can see here, I will show you in the back how I plan to do the septic tank. So here, as you can see, there's already a pipe set in, already been poured underneath the floor. So what I plan to do after this is to put (90°) that will connect from that pipe. Now will be received by this P-trap. So the P-trap will be there, hanging down. So from that pipe will be received by this one. And then I'll have to connect it like that. And then there's a P-trap. And after the P-trap, I want to connect like a T. The purpose for that, because the T will serve as the vent from the septic tank. So that's from the P-trap. From the P-trap, there will be another one with a T. I wanna connect it with a T. So there will be another 90° from the P-trap to receive the T. So it will be so close in together. But the purpose for that one will be the vent from the septic tank. Because before I have another, the T will be like connecting from the 90°, then the center of the T will be the one with the pipe that will be connected here, that will serve on the beside the wall as a vent passing the roof level. That is the vent from the septic tank. So a lot of the Filipino designs around here forget about vents. They think that a 90° from the septic tanks towards the pipe that's coming out from the house is enough. You need a vent. In fact, I will show you later on what is my design in the house. In my castle, I got 2 or 3 vents in some of my in my septic tank, the guest house and the main castle, because the vent is very important to get out that cabbage smell that is very familiar in some Filipino homes. I have to study that and research about venting and the proper way of doing the septic tank, because I have noticed a lot of Filipino homes are smelling like cabbage in the kitchen. And kitchens and toilets are usually close together in a Filipino house. And also another thing that I could advise you is to make sure when you design your house, your toilet will be near an outside wall. Not in the inner walls, but near an outside wall. So it will be easier to put a vent and also easier for your plumbing and sanitary system. And that's what some of the question that's been raised. Why their plumbing, why their house smells like cabbage inside? It's because your plumbing or sanitary system don't have a vent. Because if they don't have a vent, of course, the gas from the septic tank will go back to your sanitary system, and that's why you got that cabbage smell inside. But if you have a P-trap at the same time you have a vent, then the gas would know where to go but to go to the vent. They tested Mixie. I think it is change oil because it still turned on, but it was overheating a while ago. So I think it's been a year since they changed the oil. So they have poured until that one towards all the front header beam, and also this small beam here that I cannot. There, I need to catch the light, but right in the middle of that one. So the column on the middle and straight on this side towards the other end. So that one, so it's an L, and a half of this one was poured to close in the column that they have in there. So the usage for today is 7 bags of cement and in a 3-4 mix. 1 bag, 3 sand and 4 gravel. So this the one that we use as gravel is not those big gravels, but you know, when we were sifting the sand ready for the rendering, that's the grits that we got that from that sifted sand, the fine sand, is the one that we use as gravel, not those big gravels. Only like 1 sack of those big gravels, and the rest of the gravel mix, the 3 bags, is those grits. So we are now contemplating why that mixer stopped, but when they turn it on again, it has turned on. So I said it needs change oil, it's overheating. But that's one thing that you can get out of this, that they are just like most of them have no common sense when it comes to things like machine. Like I said, they know how to work, but like I said to the lawyer, it should have been oil change before we even start the job, to be honest. But I haven't, also my fault, I did not check that one. But tomorrow I'll make sure that Mixie will be change oil. So these are what's finished here. little bit past on that column in the corner. And yeah, 7 bags of cement for today with 3 to 4 mix. So I'll have a shot on the outside. So this is all done in the front now. So tomorrow we'll be taking out these forms and transferring it to another job. Like this one here is also done. So the middle and the other side and on the back will be the one next. So tomorrow they'll be doing that, Saturday, and then on Monday they'll be pouring it. So we're going there then. And on next week, I think some of the rendering, and they'll be doing some of the roofing. So we're almost there. Day 28, half of the beam, I say half of the beam, is now being poured.